Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Criterion Connection. I'm Wade.
And I'm still Joe.
And we are doing an Easter special. I know last year I said we've never done an Easter special. I am not making that mistake again.
Mm-hmm.
This is the third Easter special. I'm wearing the same exact outfit that I've been wearing the past two episodes. You can check those out. So we are doing a Easter-ish episode. It has nothing to do with Easter, really, story-wise. It's called The Long Good Friday. And we're putting this up on Good Friday, so it's timely.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with,
I think it was
the holiday.
I think it also took place
It does. Yeah,
the same weekend.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. But it's like, theme-wise.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I forgot that Jesus was a Cockney gangster.
Yeah.
That also was Super Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it stars Bob Hoskins as Harold Shand.
Yeah.
Or Harold Shand.
H.
Yeah. And Helen Mirren.
Yeah, he doesn't even show up for the first bit of the movie. We actually get
First, like, 10 minutes?
Yeah, we get establishing, like, kind of stuff going on early on that sets the whole plot in motion, because Harold was gone. He was laying low or whatever. Nobody knew where he was except for Jeff.
Yes, Bob Hoskins plays Harold. He's basically a mafia. It's not the mafia, but it's like Cockney kind of gangster, London gangster.
He's extremely legitimate. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's
a land developer.
Sorry, you're right.
He's trying to invest. In London.
He is a former gangster, I guess.
Yeah.
He's turned a new leaf.
He's going straight.
And he's trying to develop a waterfront for like
it's a casino.
A casino. He's aiming for like the Olympics in 1988. This is 1979, which is like the height of like the
we're getting the Thatcher.
The Provisional Irish Republic.
Oh yeah,
Army.
The IRA was pretty
pretty
big at the time.
Yeah, and there's a lot of elements of like the IRA terrorism of that era of the IRA it's like the late 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just trying to develop some land, and it ain't for the Americans. It's not working out. It's just not working out for him.
So the plot is we start off with a deal that's gone bad.
Which, by the way, I think there was like, I saw when I was just watching some of the behind the scenes stuff. It's like no lines are delivered.
Yeah, it's just silent.
Yeah.
It's silent. Where a gentleman delivers a briefcase full of money. He snags a couple stacks for himself, and then once he delivers it, a whole bunch of people get killed.
Yes.
And then we see Harold get off a plane at Heathrow, gets picked up by Jeff, and the whole plot is he's trying to get a casino built and kind of build up this area along the waterfront in London to try and attract, like, businessmen and investors, and trying to, quote, build up London ahead of the Olympics and try and turn a profit that way, like taking this property and then
flip it,
investing it, and then flipping it for 100,000 fold, right?
Yeah.
And in order to do that, they're inviting some Yanks.
Yeah.
They're inviting some Yanks over to kind of see what's up and invest in it. And he hosts everybody on his yacht, and he wants to show everybody kind of the whole proposal and get them all excited and investing and talk about how great it is. But some stuff starts happening.
Some boom. Some bang.
So, he's supposed to have pretty firm control of the underworld in London. I mean, the business world.
Yes.
I mean, the business world.
Yes.
Not the underworld. That would mean he's a criminal.
Yes. He is not a criminal.
But things start happening that are out of his control. And if he's basically trying to solve those problems and figure out what's going on because he is completely clueless of what and why is happening. At the same time as he's trying not to scare his investors or potential investors, which namely being the American businessmen.
Yeah, he's pulled between like his old ways of like dealing with things and the new and like basically this new venture he's going into of the, you know.
Yeah, and he's basically it's that whole like I need to keep up a facade while everything's falling apart outside of it. And obviously they see right through it, and you know the truth comes out, and then as the mystery kind of unfolds, it's pretty kind of harrowing and like kind of worrisome problem that he underestimates through the end and ultimately becomes a victim of his own hubris.
Yes.
But it's a great like kind of mafia thriller from the late 70s, early 80s. It's very much like Harold represents businessmen and respect and honor, and then we're dealing with in this film an opposition that is wholly like
Not run on honor.
belief and like just like die hard causes, like I'm willing to die for this. It's not about the money, it's about the way of life and the honor and the principle of things. And that's kind of what we find is just this like antagonism between like one person's goal and trying to achieve it that way and having something completely disrupt it. And essentially like, you know, we see, you know, who gets targeted, and then you find out the reasons why and who's doing it. And it's a pretty interesting kind of it's just an interesting kind of story thriller arc.
Yeah, and the ending is great. I really enjoyed the ending. Just like like what they did with it. Apparently there was supposed to be a sequel, according to the screenwriter, called the Black Easter Monday. It's supposed to take place 20 years later.
Oh,
they didn't do it, obviously, and the screenwriter's like, I'm glad we didn't do it. But apparently Bob Hoskins' character was gonna like live.
Interesting.
And be in hiding in Jamaica or something like that. I don't know. Must we go tropical? I think one of my favorite characters of the film is the score.
Yeah,
by
great.
Francis Monkman.
Yeah, who... to me, like it really becomes noticeable and like such a vibe when the airport,
yes,
where Bob Hoskins gets introduced, like that track that they play for that period is just like is probably the thing. It's probably in the trailer.
Yeah,
I feel like it's the vibe for like some of those like Michael Mann early films, like To Live and Die in L.A. Like it's that kind of vibe, and I'm just here for it.
If it's on vinyl and I see it, I'm probably going to scoop it up. That's how good the score is by Francis Monkman, who apparently is like a prog rock musician, which I can hear it.
Makes
I can
sense.
very much hear it. But like it really sets the tone, because it's a film that doesn't really need a score. It needs more of like a classical kind of score. But this one's a little bit more fancy, a little bit more synthy, a little bit more proggy.
Yeah.
And it really sets the tone differently. It makes you feel differently about certain scenes. Like at the end, they played like the main overture kind of theme in the car with Pierce Brosnan, by the way. Cameo of Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah. Early Pierce Brosnan.
With a gun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like that scene with the music really sets the tone. Also, Helen Mirren is also really good.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, she's probably one of my favorite of like the speaking characters outside, because Bob Hoskins.
It's the Bob Hoskins show.
I hate to say he dominates, but like he's
like a gangster leader. Businessman.
He's perfect in this film.
Yes,
he really is. And Helen Mirren, I think, is one of the few people that in scenes with Bob really carries their weight and like brings a great performance in addition to his. Everybody else kind of is subservient, and it makes sense with the characters.
There's a moment where he, let's just say, involves a broken bottle.
Yeah. And it's such an incredible scene.
It's an incredible scene because he hits, I don't want to spoil it, he hits someone in the throat with a broken bottle, and real brutal effect, by the way. Oh my gosh. But there's a moment where he's holding the person while they're just bleeding out and dying, and it's his emotion.
He's so good.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this really is like, it's Bob Hoskins at like peak power. Like you have this, and later we have Mona Lisa that we've already reviewed.
So Joe, I guess I should ask, would you recommend this to the general audience? By the way, it is on Max and Criterion as of this recording, Criterion channel. It may be on, rental, like Amazon stuff.
I would. I think it's a really good film. It's very like, it may not exactly be the same kind of beats as Godfather, but to me, it's kind of in that playing field. Like it's a London version, I think. I think it's, outside of everybody putting in that kind of performance, to have Bob Hoskins at your core, his performance is easily as good as anybody in Godfather.
Yes.
And the film, I think, is really interesting, and it's a interesting look at that version of that organized crime deal going on. And I think it's it's got great music, and it's just really kind of emotionally intense. I think having that emotional intensity is great, and Bob Hoskins he just delivers on all
the film
counts.
Would not be the same if it was like, there's nothing wrong with Michael Caine, who did some of these movies.
He did.
It's not,
especially at that time too.
It's not the same gravitas as what Bob Hoskins would have brought.
Well, he brings a kind of, he has this great, he's got an incredible charisma about him in general, but as this character even like amplifies it, has this warm, bubbly side. He has this emotionally tender and sensitive side, and he has this brutal
ruthlessness
and he's able to hit each mark, and he hits it.
And transitions seamless.
And he dances through them so perfectly in this film. And like I said, Helen Mirren, she's not in the movie a ton, and her character is not like a focal point, but when she's there, she is so important, and she's the only person I think in the film that is able to dance perfectly with him in scenes rather than have him kind of dominate over everybody. And that makes sense character-wise too, because she's the only one that can really get through to him, talks to him as an equal, reins him in before he does rash things when she can. Yeah. And like when he questions her, when he gives her an order and she has to disobey, she puts him in his place and says, like, I had to, otherwise you wouldn't even have that opportunity. And he realizes it and immediately kind of goes, yeah. But what do you think? Would you recommend it?
Yes, I would recommend it. It's a very, as someone who likes these crime thriller kind of movies, it's really good. It's not like at the echelons of like Godfather or Goodfellas or Heat, or I feel like this is up there as one of the best. Very entertaining. It's visceral. The score cannot stress enough that the score is like my jam. So that's our thoughts on the Long Good Friday. Let us know in the comments section below what you think about this film. Do you think this film would have been better with more Ice Cube and Chris Tucker? Because Friday. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Leave comments and suggestions. Follow us on Instagram, Condish Productions. Yeah. So until next time, I'm Wade.
And I'm Joe.
And we'll see you later.